Chapter 2. Zeila's Reflections. Zeila the fox stood before her three-way mirror, wearing a flowing royal blue gown. Her bright, rusty red hair, which was styled in a perfect bun atop her head, her signature look. The hairstyle and situated her diamond-shaped face and small, round, shiny amber eyes. She grabbed a Kleenex from her vanity and wiped the red lipstick from her lips. She then stepped out of her sparkling red hot pumps and slipped her feet into soft pink house shoes. "You better not let him get away with this," one of her reflections voiced. "You know she always does," another one added. "He will get what he deserves. Right, Zeila?" "Yes, he will," Zeila affirmed, before trotting away from the reflections, their pointy noses held high in the air, with the third wearing a sinister grin. She opened the door to her 7-year-old son's room. His silhouette stood before a canvas, holding a paint palette in one hand and a paintbrush in the other. The room was dark, and fluorescent paintings glowed from every surface. Her son was a magnificent artist, drawing and painting whatever his mind's eye revealed. Lately, his paintings had been grim, which frightened her. The current masterpiece depicted him standing tall, with the face of a full-grown lion, holding a sword ablaze with fire. The piece seemed to glow. She reached down to pick up her cat, Sunshine, who sat in front of the canvas. Wherever her son was, Sunshine was always nearby, making everything brighter. "You need to put your PJs on before Leader gets here," Zeila pointed out to her new son as she held Sunshine close to her heart. "And what did Mommy tell you about keeping your room clean?" she sang, turning on the lights and picking up a terrifying painting from the floor. "What is the meaning of this?" she snapped, holding the painting in front of him. "It's art, Mother," her son replied calmly. "Well, I don't like it at all," Zeila stressed. Her son sighed and continued painting. "Listen here, this better be nothing but art," she warned, grabbing his perfect chocolate-covered face to look into his piercing eyes. His lips curled up in a sinister grin, making her close her eyes for a moment before she walked over to his bed to fix the sheets. A banana now later dropped to the floor, and her son snatched it with his paws, opened it, and popped it into his mouth. "You're going to mess up your teeth," his mother told him, rubbing her fingers through his ink-black coils and pinching his nose as she sang, "Loving you," before trotting away. "What about King? Why do you never talk to him, Mommy? It makes him unhappy," he scoffed, pulling his pajama shirt over his head. His words always stopped her in her tracks. She clutched the medallion that hung in the middle of her upper chest, a trinket that had fascinated him since he was little. His father often let him hold his while telling the story of the infamous medallion that would soon be his. Zeila looked down at her son Happy and saw a clever fox in reflection. "Loving you," he admitted. "Loving you more," she promised, before rushing out of his room. Zeila stood for a minute with her head down, then lifted her nose to the ceiling and sashayed through the house, wondering where her husband was. They were supposed to go to the Circle of Excellence function with Princess and Waldo 2 hours ago. She grabbed her gold goblet, which held a glowing red potion, from the table. She sat down on her throne, swirling the magical concoction, before putting it up to her nose to smell its sweetness. She swallowed it down, eyeing the family picture where even sunshine was queening in. She had fallen in love with Leo the first time she laid eyes on his handsome face. He was the finest thing she had seen in all her 17-year-old life. In the fox den, sneaking around had been a problem from the start, but they managed to pull it off. Even though he was a Casanova, he was her first love, and they sexed crazy, any and everywhere, but discreetly, till one day. He let her see what he did all day in his universe. She had sprained her ankle, and he had to carry her home. Her father had been furious when he found out she was seeing Leo, and tried to prevent them from being together, but neither of them listened. Soon, young Zeila the fox married Leo the lion against her father's wishes, and her life became not a fairy tale, but a freaky tale. The doorbell ringing brought Zeila back to the present. She stood straightening out her gown and sashayed to the door for Princess's eldest daughter, Royalty, and her baby boy leader. They are all golden tigers. They both had the prettiest golden skin and matching eyes that captivated her. "Hi, Foxy, Mama," Royalty said, hugging Zeila. "Hi, Fox," Leader yelled, running to find Happy. Zeila and Royalty looked at each other and shared a laugh. Those two cubs were nothing but trouble together. "Foxy Mama, you look pretty," Royalty said. "Thanks, baby. My mom was looking pretty too. Oh, she said to call her when we got here. You got food? I'm starving," Royalty breathed. "Yes, leave some for someone else, please," Zeila pointed out, playfully hitting Royalty's butt before she skipped to the kitchen. Zeila ran her fingers through her sweet-smelling hair as she walked up the 4 steps to her balcony and opened the door. It was humid, but chills ran up her arm. "Meow. Sunshine, you came out to light up the balcony for Mommy?" Zeila smiled down at her feline friend, who was focused on the midnight blue sky. Her diamond-shaped eyes twinkled. Zeila headed back inside so Sunshine would follow suit. Once the cat had gotten away, making Zeila frantic, her husband had found Sunshine in a dangerous situation and saved her. "Come on, my love," Zeila urged, as Sunshine continued to investigate the night before finally sashaying towards the door. Zeila heard loud laughter coming from her son's room, cabinets closing in the kitchen. She shook her head and poured herself another goblet full of sweet formula. Turning on her heels, she sashayed to the telephone, picked up the receiver, and sat back down on her throne, sitting straight up with the telephone to her ear. Sunshine looked up at her, yawned wide, and laid her body down on Zeila's feet, as she always did. "Hey, girl," Zeila greeted her cousin before sipping her drink. "Waldo showed up yet?" "No, and I am pissed. Got us all dressed up with nowhere to go," Zeila replied, stroking Sunshine's fur. "That man of mine better have a damn good excuse," Princess yelled. "I'm sure mine will," Zeila said sarcastically. "I'll be down there." "For sure," Zeila smiled from ear to ear. She loved her cousin Princess like a sister. They always had fun together, just as they did when they were little. "I took my clothes off and slipped on something more comfortable, so I'll be there in a jiffy with some good homegrown," Princess snorted. "See you soon," Zeila replied. She took the telephone off her ear and let it rest on her chest while she rubbed Sunshine's fur. Then she picked her cat up and sang, "Cousin Princess is coming," before rubbing noses with her, making Sunshine purr loudly. Suddenly, a chocolate hunk came blazing in, with his signature red and black jacket over his black tux and red scabbard that kept his sword, Inferno, intact. Zeila rolled her eyes at his inconsiderate entrance. Sunshine dashed up to him, sniffing him. "Hey," he growled, picking her up. "Put my cat down," Zeila warned, standing tall and wide-legged. "Is this cat all you care about?" Leo growled, strolling over to her with Sunshine high in the air, unbothered. "Look at me," he snarled, as fire surrounded all three of them. "I don't want to look at you or even care about you right now." Zeila tried to sashay away, but the fire would not let her go. Leo sniffed her. She always smelled like some sweet fruit. Sunshine meowed, still in his paws. He sniffed her neck as Zeila snatched away, side-eyeing him. He grabbed her tail, letting it brush through his paws. She hated the man she loved for putting her through so much forever, but she let him. "We were supposed to go together tonight." "Oh, shut up," Leo growled, letting Sunshine down. He took off his jacket and scabbard and put them both back on display on the wall, then grabbed the neck of the bottle of the sweet formula. Turning it upside down, there was not a drop left. He turned to Zeila. "Fox, do you want me and Lee to go home?" Royalty's voice sounded from the back of the room. "Yes, get him and go," Leo demanded. Zeila looked over her shoulder at him, and he gave her a wink. "Just go into the room with him," she ordered in a faint voice. After Royalty walked slowly to the room, Zeila was drawn to the superior sword. She peeped at her husband as he led a smoking blaze over to his throne. She slaughtered him. In her mind, he was dead, slouched on his throne, with red-hot blood everywhere, including on her. She had envisioned it a billion times, but never had the call to go through with it. "Go on," Leo slouched, waving his right hand dismissively. "Do your badgering. Tonight, I won't give you what you used to," Zeila says, standing wide-legged. "Ha! Go fetch me more formula, Fox, and hush." "Fetch?" Zeila repeated. Popping sounds went off in her head as she gave him an evil eye. "Yes, since you drank all of that one," the lion in him roared, pointing at the empty bottle lying on its side, like someone had been playing spin the bottle with it. Zeila flew over to the display on the wall, releasing Inferno from its scabbard with both her paws. The red lacquer handle was burning hot in her hands. The sword was heavy, stretching long, ending with a wide curve, and it was on fire, towering over her. "Don't make me furious, woman," he roared, without even looking her way. He and his foxy wife fought often, but he knew damn well she would not use that sword, because Inferno was summoned to him, only until the fire was given to the next in line. "I am beyond tired of your shit," she spoke calmly, making him sit up quickly, with swimming thoughts of all the battering that had been through since she was a teenager. He had married Zeila out of spite and grew to love her, dragging her into his hell of a world. "Inferno, come to me now!" he roared, and the sword guided Zeila closer to him, aiming at his heart, right where she had sliced him years back. He eyed her down, then looked back into her piercing eyes, hearing her thoughts. "All these years I put up with your serial-killing, cheating ass," Zeila grimaced. She had had it with him. She and her baby boy will be better off without him. So she let the heavy fiery sword do as it pleased, right in his chest cavity.